Iran was attempting to conceal a highly sensitive underground facility at Taligan 2, protected by layers of earth, concrete, and new reinforcement work. The intention was clear: to make the site immune to airstrikes, especially against bunker buster bombs. But the secret was discovered. Satellite images revealed 3 large craters aligned precisely over the main structure, a pattern that indicates the use of extremely powerful penetration munitions designed to hit deeply buried targets. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. These craters are unusual. Due to their size and placement, experts believe they were caused by the United States' most advanced bunker buster bombs used to destroy critical underground facilities. The attack suggests a clear shift in strategy, focusing directly on the most protected points of Iranian infrastructure. The site had already been undergoing reconstruction following previous damage, with structural reinforcements, new foundations, and coverings designed to conceal and protect what lay beneath. Reports from institutions such as the Institute for Science and International Security Information Service, ISIS, had already warned that the site had links to sensitive activities, possibly related to the former AMAD nuclear program. In the end, the Iranian objective was simple: to make the bunker invulnerable. But the result was the opposite. The structure was hit with precision, and the craters visible from space indicate that what was hidden below was completely compromised. Moving forward to the present, TWZ adds that Iran continued the work by encasing the Taligan 2 site in reinforced concrete and then burying it under a massive layer of earth, intended to cushion the impact of any bombs dropped on the facility. Then, a clearer picture begins to emerge. As the main facility was being built, smaller surrounding buildings may have been designed to serve as entrances and exits to the underground bunkers. Iran's problem is that all of this was recorded. It's not exactly easy to hide the construction of a new secret site when satellites are constantly flying overhead. The United States and Israel knew exactly what they needed to target from the moment construction began, so all they needed was the right weapon at the right time. Iran likely knew all of this was coming. Taligan 2 had been hit before. In October 2024, Israel launched an attack against the site, causing significant damage according to ISIS. The same institute notes that Taligan 2 was likely being used to produce high-purity PETN plastic explosives, essential for the construction of shockwave generators. Likely developed as part of the AMAD plan, these generators, also called distributors, would have been created to allow for the miniaturization of nuclear weapons. Smaller nuclear bombs can be deployed with far less effort than larger ones, suggesting that the bunker destroyed by the United States played a role in the Iranian nuclear program in the past. Perhaps the United States has intelligence indicating that the new and improved Taligan 2 was built with the same objective. That no longer matters. The site has been destroyed for the second time. ISIS claims that the U.S. attacks caused extensive damage, rendering the ground and concrete of the facility virtually unusable. The 3 visible craters show only part of the impact, as the greatest destruction occurred dozens of meters below the surface. These craters follow the path of a facility used for testing high-powered explosives, possibly linked to nuclear research. Evidence indicates that bunker buster bombs penetrated the thick layer of concrete and detonated inside the Taligan 2 complex, causing severe internal damage. Satellite images reinforce this conclusion by showing defensive structures damaged from the inside out, as well as nearby buildings affected by the force of the explosions. Everything points to an extremely precise attack, capable of directly hitting the core of the installation. Given the nature of the craters and the type of damage observed, the only compatible weapon would be the massive Ordnance Penetrator, MOP, exclusive to the United States. The pattern is similar to that seen in previous attacks, such as in Fordo and Natanz, indicating that the same strategy was used again to destroy fortified underground Iranian facilities. The described 9,500 kilogram bomb is the Moab, a weapon of enormous explosive power designed for area destruction. However, it was not used in Taliban 2, and the main indication lies in the launch method. The Moab relies on aircraft like the C-130, which lack stealth technology and would have to penetrate deep into Iranian airspace, assuming an unacceptable risk even with already degraded defenses. Therefore, the only plausible option is the MOP, Massive Ordnance Penetrator, launched by B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. Unlike the Moab, the MOP wasn't designed for surface explosions, but to destroy deeply buried targets. It uses its enormous mass and speed to penetrate layers of concrete and rock before detonating. Its reinforced body allows it to penetrate extremely resistant structures, and detonation only occurs after penetration, maximizing internal damage. Although its explosive charge is smaller, approximately 2 to 6 tons. The effect is far more destructive in the right context as the explosion occurs inside the bunker. Furthermore, its penetration capacity can reach approximately 60 meters, making it ideal against installations like Taliban 2. Moab, massive area explosion, low penetration, high risk of use in this scenario. MOP, deep penetration, internal detonation, ideal for fortified bunkers. That's precisely why the MOP was the perfect choice. It not only hits the target, it destroys what's hidden beneath, where no other bomb could reach. This is perfect for the strategy of the United States and Israel, which appears to have been to hit Taliban 2 with full force using bunker-buster bombs, and then carry out additional attacks to eliminate the above-ground structures at the site. Stay with us, and we'll explain why the 13,600 kilogram MOPs weren't the only thing Iran needed to worry about at the site. Before we get to that, it's worth noting that everything we've discussed so far is speculation based on what we've been able to observe from satellite imagery. As of March 14th, the United States had neither confirmed nor denied the use of the MOP at the Taliban 2 site. TWZ even tried to verify its report on the attack by contacting the United States Central Command, CENTCOM, but received a refusal to comment on the ongoing operation. Still, what we've seen so far is consistent with the use of MOPs, and we know that the United States has been sending B-2 Spirit stealth bombers to Iran, the only aircraft currently capable of dropping these gigantic bunker-busting bombs. Everything fits. The United States simply hasn't released a definitive response yet. That said, there are some differences between the MOP attacks carried out as part of Operation Epic Fury and those conducted during Operation Midnight Hammers in 2025. The main difference seems to lie in how the United States achieves its goals. In Taliban 2, we see craters directly above the underground structure of the facility, indicating a direct attack. As early as 2025, the United States exploited ventilation ducts at the Fordo site, launching its MOPs into these vulnerable points, likely to ensure greater penetration before detonation. This was revealed by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States, Dan Kane, in June 2025, when he stated that Iran attempted to cover these ducts with concrete to prevent an attack. Clearly, this didn't work. But it raises interesting questions about why the United States seems to have chosen a different approach in the more recent MOP attacks. The main one is, why weren't the ventilation ducts used again? The most obvious answer might be that the Taliban 2 facility didn't have exactly the same function as the bunkers hit during Operation Midnight Hammer, which would mean that these pipelines simply did not exist to be explored. However, another explanation may lie in the measures Iran took to try to protect Taliban 2. Earth and concrete help, but they need to be extremely deep to contain a MOP capable of penetrating about 60 meters of concrete. Based on satellite images of the site before and after the covering, it may have simply been a case of a direct attack for a simpler reason. The protection was insufficient. Iran had certainly already felt the impact of bunker-busting bombs, but what it perhaps didn't expect was what we mentioned earlier: the subsequent attacks. With the bunker already out of operation, one could argue that the initial objective had already been achieved. Whatever was happening at the secret Iranian facility had already been neutralized, but the United States and Israel wanted to go further, transforming Taliban 2 from a disabled site into a completely obliterated target. Israel took the lead in the next phase. TWZ reports that the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, claimed to have attacked the Taliban 2 facility during the night of March 11th. The IDF doesn't possess MOPS, so we can rule out their use of those bombs in the initial attack. But what Israel does have are bunker buster bombs weighing around 900 kilograms, which may have been used in subsequent attacks against the underground facility. The craters were already there. All the Israeli aircraft needed to do was fly over the area and drop their weapons. ISIS also used the X platform to reveal further damage to buildings near Taliban 2, based on satellite imagery. On March 12th, the Institute reported that fire control and instrumentation buildings west of the Taliban 1 facility, located next to Taliban 2, had also been destroyed. This was not caused by U.S. bunker buster bombs. These buildings were too far away to have been hit by shockwaves, suggesting that the Israeli attacks were carried out by fighter jets, which eliminated the outer structures after the Taliban 2 bunker was destroyed by MOPS. Iran is shaken. Almost a year of construction specifically designed to protect Taliban 2 has proven completely useless. The B-2 bomber and its MOPS demonstrated that the United States air power is so superior to what Iran can offer that it can penetrate concrete, earth, and any other protection the country has tried to use to safeguard its most strategic locations. Iran must be wondering what might come next. The United States probably already has some answers for that. Taliban 2 is not the only location where Iran has invested time and resources for protection. As Reuters reported, similar work was observed at other Iranian military complexes such as Parchin and Isfahan. Tunnels were being buried and entrances reinforced at least until February 18th, as Iran prepared for what was to come from the United States later that month. All this work was confirmed by satellite imagery, according to Reuters, and ended up only creating a series of potential targets in other underground Iranian nuclear and military facilities. If Iran wants to know where the United States can attack with its MOPS next, it has already provided the answers. Iran may be hoping that the United States will soon run out of MOPS or that its B-2s will stop flying over the country. Neither of these hypotheses seems likely. Although the United States keeps the number of MOPS in its stockpile secret, we know from a February 12th report by the Air and Space Forces that the Pentagon was preparing to replenish its arsenal before Operation Epic Fury. A contract exceeding $100 million was awarded to Boeing to replace the bombs used during Operation Midnight Hammer. It is estimated that each of these bombs costs around $4 million. This means that over $100 million in investment represents at least 25 new MOPS, not counting those already available. The United States has already used 14 so far and, with new units on the way, seems ready to continue striking fortified underground targets if necessary. As for the B-2s being far from Iran, the Iranian regime can't count on that either. There are reports that B-2 bombers were en route to bases in the United Kingdom since March 4th, following the reversal of the British decision to prohibit the United States from using those bases for initial B-2 strikes. In other words, these aircraft are being maintained, refueled, and positioned dangerously close to Iran. The United States maintains full initiative. With stealth bombers like the B-2, new attacks can happen without warning. That's precisely the point of stealth, to strike before the enemy even notices. The potential arrival of more B-2 bombers at British bases indicates a new phase of the campaign, now focused on destroying underground structures and critical installations that remain after the weakening of Iranian military capabilities. On Iran's side, options are limited. The Revolutionary Guard maintains an aggressive rhetoric and carries out sporadic attacks, but with reduced strategic impact. The political leadership is trying to negotiate, but it still presents high demands, such as recognition, reparations, and international guarantees, typical of a position of strength that, in practice, no longer exists. The craters at Taligan 2 symbolize this reality. Even highly protected installations are not safe, and if Iran continues to defy them, the United States still has the capacity to significantly escalate its attacks. At the same time, Tehran is attempting to escalate its rhetoric, suggesting risks of global escalation. While a direct world conflict does not seem imminent, the scenario shows how regional tensions can quickly grow and generate much broader effects. In the end, the picture is clear. The United States is applying pressure with air superiority and strategic precision, while Iran is trying to buy time between limited resistance and negotiation. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more analysis of the recent US attacks on Iran. And as always, thank you for watching.